I was like, oh no, is it me?
As we all pause, hey, we know he's talking.
Oh, that's a new one. Restream. Good morning, everybody. How the heck are we doing today?
Morning, doing well.
Oh,
Wonderful.
excellent.
Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Well, Kevin is off in Spain somewhere, sitting in some cabana someplace, or I don't know. I don't know if that's really what you do in Spain or Spain. Do they have cabanas in Spain, or is that not a Spain type thing?
Not a Spanish thing, but it's, I'm sure he's
He already staking out a place for next FabCon?
Yeah.
Barcelona.
Probably.
Yeah. Oh,
He
yeah,
knew
that's
ahead
right.
of
They did
time.
announce Barcelona,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah, he's just ahead of us all. Man, gotta keep
Yeah.
up.
Wow. So good to have everybody here. We've got I see some new people in the chat here and stuff. So why don't we go around and do some introductions? It's been a while since we did it. My name's Chris Wagner, Director of Data and AI. Oh, strike that. Director of AI and Data, because we put AI first. Greg, why don't you introduce yourself and tell people more about you, because this is your first time on the channel, right?
Liz, thank you so much for having me, Chris. Gregory Petrosian, I'm the Global Microsoft and AWS Partner Lead for Data Stacks at IBM. It's quite a mouthful. I also run the Portland Fabric User Group, and I've been doing that for almost over 7 years now. And I've got a blog and YouTube called Schema Sauce, as you can see here, for all things AI, analytics, and user groups. Thanks for having me.
Oh, Greg, it is fantastic to have you. Excited to be with you. I can remember we've been doing stuff together for like 4 or 5 years now. Excited to have you finally, at long last, on the show. Good to have you. Let's go around to Jared. Why don't you introduce yourself?
Sure. Good morning, Fabric Friday group. Jared Keene here, your resident data bard here. Been involved in the community for many years, more actively within about the past year and a half, 2 years now. I really like helping people be more efficient in the stuff that they do. So my focus a lot of times is trying to find tools, tips, and tricks that help people do the same things we have to do day in and day out, but try to do it a little bit more efficient so we get to the fun stuff that we don't always get a lot of time for. So lately, Fabric obviously tries to help people be more efficient, so there's a lot of opportunity there. I also run a YouTube channel. Currently, I'm doing a series on SSMS Copilot, which, if you haven't checked it out yet, take a look. It's like database focused, like AI augmented development is going to be a huge thing, not just because I'm making content on it. I think there's a lot of opportunity for us to improve there, and that's a lot of my focus there, is helping us data professionals do more with data. So that's why I'm here.
Awesome. And so I just posted in the chat both Greg's and Jared's YouTube channel. So make sure you like, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff with them. And speaking of which, we've got several people on here. Hit that like button on this video. Help it get some traction. The more we can hit and smash that button, the better we do in the stream. So I'd really appreciate that. Thank you. All right. Last and certainly not least, it's our resident star. It's the one and only speaker at FabCon Vienna. We have Christina Ferris.
You guys are crazy. Thanks for having me on the show, Chris. Love being here. No, I do genuinely. I'm so excited to be back on Fabric Fridays, and glad that the move is going well and you guys settled down to where we can do this again. But yeah, I'm in Vienna right now, so I think I saw someone in the chat post that it is 2:15 here, or 2:30, so it's not exactly the morning anymore. But who cares? It's still Friday, it's still Fabric, so we're still having a good time. But yeah, so I am a solution architect over at P3 Adaptive, and I absolutely love speaking about Fabric and Power BI. So anything from real-time analytics to data warehousing, which is what I spoke on at FabCon. Absolutely a huge fan. So I do have a blog, Data on Wheels. Most of my blog posts right now are recaps, but mostly because I've been going to a lot of conferences. So been sharing what I learned there with everybody else. So,
Oh,
yeah,
that
caribou. Oh, Donald's got
yeah.
me pegged. That's
Caribou coffee.
important. So caribou coffee is my jam.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. So, but Christina unfortunately no longer lives near a Caribou Coffee. So, I'm not going to
No,
dox your address right now. But if you see Chris, or if you know you're going to see Christina, and you live near a Caribou Coffee thing, package of Caribou Coffee are greatly appreciated. So,
definitely care packages.
yeah.
We'll trade caribou for bourbon. There you go. Yeah.
There you are. Yeah, because you are right next to Buffalo Trace, the
I
absolute
am.
favorite whiskey of this channel.
I'm working on a sponsorship, Chris. It hasn't landed yet, so I'll let you know.
Someday we'll get there, and we'll be in the big leagues, and we'll have a Buffalo Trace sponsorship, as well as Nero Gum. Nero Gum, the gum for when you need that little pick me up and boost, and you don't want some coffee. It's got caffeine, it's got L-theanine, and it's got your B vitamins to get you that natural burst of energy without the jitters. This is not a paid sponsorship. I just really like this.
Seems a little bit early though. Now we're gonna have to find something else to like fill in the middle now.
Oh, I've got other ones, so we can own that one. So
Don't tempt Chris with a free ad, you know?
yeah,
I shouldn't have
Find one.
said anything.
Oh, okay. But we are here today. And thank you guys all for joining us. Hey, yeah, it is the best gum ever, Aaron. Stina likes the jitters, so okay, fair enough. That's all we're pimping here is like coffee, caffeine, and apparently alcohol. So that gets you up and
All
going.
the good stuff.
Yeah, if you're in data, that's what you're doing. So, but we're going to be here talking about FabCon Vienna and the big announcements. We have someone who actually spoke at FabCon with us today. We're so happy to have her here. Yes, Christina, you spoke at FabCon. What did you present on?
So I presented on mastering data warehousing tips and tricks in Fabric.
Mm.
So it was a lot of fun. Thank you. If anybody who came to my session yesterday is watching, thank you. It was awesome. I had one of the best crowds I've ever had in my entire life. It was so vibrant. Loved chatting with everybody afterward. So yeah, anyway, it was just a great time. But we really got to dig into things like collations, how you can preset those on workspaces now, yay. And how you can do it via REST API in the notebooks. And then we also covered just a little bit about monitoring. So how do you find long-running queries like across all of your lakehouses and warehouses inside of a workspace? And how do you kill anything that's going to kill your capacity? So
Oh, that's fantastic. Now,
yeah,
I've got a
it was
question
great.
for you, Christina.
Yeah.
I have never, well, explain to me, why would I care about collation?
Oh, Chris. I can tell you why I care about collation. I had to migrate not one, not two, but 3 data warehouses into Fabric earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went to do that, it sounds relatively simple, right? You move the stored procedures, the views. For reference, this client did not allow any AI at the time. And so we were moving things. As we moved them, it became very apparent that people were creating views and stored procedures in a case insensitive manner. So their table names, their column names didn't quite line up with reality. And so we spent, I think, 3 weeks of the project just going through finding every single piece of code that had the wrong table reference or column reference.
Well, that sounds awful.
It was terrible. So I care a lot about it because I never want those 3 weeks again. So
Okay, fair enough.
yeah.
So what you're saying is, and explain what collation is to people who may not be
Yes.
familiar. So,
Oh yeah. So collation, for those of you who might not know, is essentially how the data gets stored inside of the server. So you can have there's quite a few variations, but the big ones that I've come across are case insensitive or case sensitive. And so what that means is that in the back end, when you are calling queries, it will either confirm that the casing matches, or it won't. So that's kind of how that goes. But yeah, it is a big
Yeah.
deal if you're trying to do cross joins. This is where I first ran into it in my career. Yeah,
Mm.
Andrew's totally right on. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's something where
It only
hopefully you
matters
never
till
have
it
to
matters,
care.
or it doesn't matter till it
Yeah,
matters, and then it really matters, right?
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
when you're writing a query and suddenly you see that like in a join predicate or something, somebody has to write, oh, and here's the field with this collation. I'm like,
Yeah, it's just squirming. Yeah.
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 Yeah,
No
that's
thanks.
never any good. Okay, so you presented on it. It was a great showing. That's absolutely fantastic. A lot of big announcements came out of FabCon.
Yes.
Let's go around and let's see if we can identify like what are some of our favorites. I'd say what is each person's favorite, but somehow I think we might have some overlap. So I'm gonna come to you, Christina, last.
No
Um,
problem.
I think I might hit up Greg first as to lots of announcements this week. Was
Yeah.
there one that stood out to you as like, holy cow, look at that. That's gonna be a big hit.
Yeah, the one that came, for me was Graph. I think Graph is being released in real-time intelligence, and we're seeing Graph really take center stage around AI. Really giving it that additional layer of context when you've got a web of relationships and context you want to provide, and seeing them take that first step in real-time intelligence was like, okay, that's big. Being able to just have clicks to be able to create a graph versus code. Haven't seen it be that easy, especially when you're trying to, work in real-time intelligence with huge data volumes. Graph should help. So I love that.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I'm excited to see GraphQL coming into more in Fabric, make it be easier. That looks like a massive win. All right, Jared, what was your favorite feature from the announcements?
Oh, like, so I mean, first of all, taking a look at the list, like, I was getting tingles multiple times of like, there were a lot of significant updates that I was super excited about. You make me narrow it down to one. Actually, I'd say it's one that I have like an immediate use case for, is for when utilizing notebooks and Spark, the ability to query mirrored databases directly. That has been a pain point in multiple projects I've been a part of mirroring, nice and easy to get data into the environment. And then I just want to be able to access it immediately with something like a notebook. It's like, sorry, you can't. Now you can. That, especially like I've seen a lot of architectures consistently go where like notebooks is the first step to get data out of mirrored or out of an external source into the environment. So it just seems natural that we should be able to support mirroring. So when they
Yeah.
announced that, I'm like, yes, this is a big win.
Oh, that's fantastic. I didn't even pick up that was one of the things, nor did I recognize. I don't think I realized that was an issue. So that's great.
You
Can I
never
add
will
to that,
now,
by the
Chris.
way?
Sure.
One of the other mirroring things that I saw was bidirectional mirroring, especially with Snowflake. As we see more bidirectional mirroring coming out with data sources where you truly are unifying your data state, whether it's in Fabric or elsewhere. I mean, that's pretty slick. And I feel like Oracle is getting a lot of news right now. And now Oracle's part of the mirroring squad. So
Mirror Squad.
Mirror squad.
Bum, bum, bum.
Hopefully others are following suit.
Well, and I think that bidirectional mirroring has a big deal, especially when we're talking about analytics and distributed analytics and like potentially business logic. If you think about having multiple teams who own various aspects of an object. So, for example, the biggest one I could think of is like a client. Well, in a lot of organizations, sales claims ownership of a client, and in many ways that makes good sense that sales owns a client. But there's components where that finance owns, right? Like finance can say this client is delinquent, or this client, is on a credit hold, or whatever it is, right? And they need to have that ability to like identify those clients, own that definition, be able to mark them as such, and that should, they should be able to do that as that departmental head. They should be able to define those and own that business logic without having to pass that over to the sales team to somehow incorporate it, because the sales teams are super fast at incorporating finance logic that could slow down their sales, right? So I like that a lot. That's great.
Oh, we lost your audio for a second, Chris. Can you guys hear him? No. Okay.
Nope.
I'll ad lib for him.
How about now?
He's saying Nero gum. Chew more Nero gum. There we go.
Got
it.
All
Do your
right,
best Chris impression. Go.
Best day ever. All right, Christina, what was your big favorite?
So if I can be so brave, I have two.
Okay.
So merge and data warehouse for similar reasons as what was listed above. Merge, I'm so excited for. It's going to make all of our scripting a lot easier. Again, migration, right? Just having parity with the old stuff. The other one, UDFs and DAX. So pumped to see that actually come out. I think they teased it last FabCon, and I'm very excited to play around with it. So it's I think going to bridge the gap a little bit that data marts left. So when data marts got decommed, a lot of people were like, hey, I still want a way to centralize my measures other than a semantic model. I think UDFs are going to give you some of that capability to be able to standardize how you're writing certain functions.
So I'm going to agree with you. UDFs for my number one big thing to come out of Fabric, especially as we start to see all the things that people are using them for and how they can simplify your logic and simplify your build outs of things. It's something that like I can honestly remember like 5 years ago talking about this being a needed function, and like
yes.
And then like it seemed like it was a hot button topic for a while, and then it just like people stopped talking about it, or the people I was talking with stopped talking about it. And so I thought it was something that was never going to actually happen. So excited to see that it's actually here. So I'm going to call out the thing that, so my favorite thing was UDFs. I think one of the things that, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Christina, because you were there. One of the things that I really like about conferences is the opportunity to hear from the leaders about what their future vision is. And sometimes it's 12 months, 24 months, or even 36 months out. Like, what is that vision or future like? And I didn't see a lot of those announcements this time. Everything seemed like it was much more, hey, this is what we're about to have, this is what's coming. Was there any kind of commentary around that from around FabCon?
Yeah, so it's interesting because it kind of depends who you talk to. I talked to a few people who were really excited about not having to think too far ahead, mostly because their leadership gets excited about new things. They want to implement it now, and then you have to tell them, hey, it's not going live for like a year, maybe more, right? There's no date for this. So we can build towards it, but we can't build it, you know? So I think there was some relief from that perspective. I also think that there were some folks, you know, like yourself, Chris, who are excited about the future, want to know what the path is, want to be able to think ahead. And I think for those folks, it did feel like a gap, right? And it felt like, okay, is Fabric reaching the point of maturity where now we have roadmaps that are just shorter because a lot of the big ticket items are kind of done or known? I don't think so. I think it was a strategic move of like, hey, you know, we have to correct what we did last year, which was all sneak peeks. and just get stuff out to people. And maybe now they can swing back a little bit and say, like, maybe, a session or two about the future for people who are interested. It doesn't have to be in the keynote, it could be one of the core notes, something like that. But some kind of avenue to get a picture of what's coming without necessarily overwhelming everybody who doesn't need to know everything. So
I think I could agree to that. Jared, what's your take on being able to see future stuff versus just all near-term updates?
I mean, for me, it needs to be balanced. Like, it's almost for me like a scale of, if you're going to talk really detailed about features and certain capabilities, the closer the timeline is to those things actually being released, the more people are going to be like, all right, this is something that builds hype.
yeah.
Future wise, if you keep it where you're talking so detailed about things, everybody's going to assume, oh, they've got all these details figured out, which means it's going live soon. And then when it doesn't, and you get certain announcements, which I'm gonna not name names of announcements that happened at FabCon Vegas.
We all know. We all know.
I remember those.
But I mean, that was case in point of, like, some of those things, genuinely excited about it. I was waiting for some of those things to get announced at Vienna because it seemed like it was close enough on the roadmap, and it's not. So that future vision needs to be happen, but at that point, I think it needs to be about vision, not about features.
Mm, good call.
Yeah, I think I could agree with that. Greg, what's your take?
Yeah, I think the vision point, you always got to paint the vision. We always got to know where we're moving forward. Of course, there's AI hype everywhere. So how is Fabric fitting within, co-piloting everything, right? Agents everywhere. But the features is what we're here for, right? Like, what are the things I can do in Fabric or Power BI tomorrow, right? Like, what's going to actually change my workflow? What's going to make a difference on the project that I'm running? That's what people mostly care about, and that's why they're there, because they want to actually go and implement it. So, but to Jared's point, and I think also to Christina's, you need a balance, of course. But as somebody who wants to just dive in as soon as something is released, features kind of take the cake.
Yeah, I'm not going to go so far as to say I don't want any feature or future vision in my like big keynote. I think I would love to hear what Arun and Amir have coming for us next. Right, the visionaries of the platform. What are they talking about? I would love to hear a little bit about that so we could see those previews. Not, maybe it's just 2 minutes, right? Maybe it's 5 minutes as they talk about whatever it is, and then let the other stuff be there, and then do like deep dive detailed sessions on, like, where is One Lake security heading, right? Because frankly, I think especially with AI, you have to have security defined at that file level that adds in column level, row level, object level security. And I don't know of any other platform that's making significant strides in that direction. And we need to see that. We need to see what that roadmap is so that we can start to prepare and plan to have our architecture and our everything in place. Because, like, if they gave that to me today, and if I then said to my boss this afternoon and said, hey, boss, I need to migrate my platform onto this so that we can, like, define this. I mean, I can't tell you how many years of effort that is at many, many companies in order to make those proper steps. So to know that now and to say, okay, hey, we are going to be defining our security in One Lake. We're going to have these dimensions. We're going to have these aspects. That means I can start today, as new builds come up, as new opportunities to come up. We can start to migrate and get all of our components in place so that 2 years from now, 3 years from now, whenever One Lake security is, like, hardened and out, we're ready to take advantage of that, right? Because that's going to become critical for us, because it won't be long after that comes out, it might even be before it comes out, that we start seeing states or governments make laws requiring that
Yeah.
to be a thing. And it will be very hard if we're not ready for it, right?
Security's first in everything right now. You know,
Yeah.
and because there's so many new attack vectors coming up that are unknown, especially when you're AIing everything and you've got data flying all over the place and things we have no idea that are going to be vulnerabilities. So the more you
Yeah.
can secure the data sensitivity labels you can use, I still think data sensitivity is super important.
Yeah.
To your point.
You're spot on. And hey, for those in the chat, put in the chat what your favorite updates were from FabCon. We were kind of joking on before we joined the live stream that I feel like I'm living in a time warp because I get most of my updates through LinkedIn, and my LinkedIn, like every post is like 3 weeks old. So I'm now getting posts of like heading off to FabCon. I'm like, what day is it? You know?
Who knows, Chris? Who knows?
Yeah, it's crazy. I've got some good news though. Alan Jones has posted something about the features talked about but not showing fast include the rework of the visuals, and he's been waiting for 2 years for measures that could set a default value in a slicer that Miguel mentioned.
Cheers to Miguel.
I've been waiting for like 8 years on that. I mean, I'm not kidding. Like 2017 is I made a trek to Washington D.C. to a meeting with Microsoft where there were two missions I had in front of me. Mission one was the ability to embed a paginated report inside of Power BI, which we have now. And then mission two was to be able to set a default value on a slicer with a measure. And I'm still waiting on that one. But
I was like, this does not sound like good news, Chris. I mean,
no, I've got
where's the
great
good news?
news.
Okay.
Miguel Myers has said he is going to he is going to be coming on, and I'm going to be recording an hour or so long session with him. We're going to be doing a deep dive into everything that's going on, everything that's happening in that place. I'm going to tell everybody, I know for a fact through conversations that they are very, very hard at work on these items. The biggest things I think that they're juggling is maintaining functionality of current things as well as bringing new features in that don't step on and break old things. And I think that's proving to be more of a challenge than anyone would really like. And I don't know that for sure, but because no one's told me that, but I think that because I know they're actively very heavily working on these things, and Miguel's agreed to come on and record a video where I don't think it's going to be live because he works different hours than what this live stream is, but I'm going to find time with him in early October where we're going to record it and we'll post that out as soon as we can. So
Miguel's
updates
awesome.
within the month. What's that?
Miguel's awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
Miguel is a rock star. And I'm excited to see the transparency he's showing on all of this stuff. I think this is one of the situations where it's kind of biting him in the butt because, like, he laid out this incredible vision and roadmap, and I don't think everyone necessarily realized, like, oh, some of those are 5 years away, and
Right.
and
Vision. We talked about vision, right?
Right.
Case in point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Now, one of the look at this. Andrew's talking about like cross lake house lineage. What is that? Do you guys know about this announcement?
I think it's the materialized lake views that he's talking about.
Oh, okay.
So pretty awesome stuff that came out. Where basically, first of all, they're actually functional, right? Because you want to be able to do some cross lake house. But I think that was the biggest one that I saw was that in the incremental refresh support on the MLBs. Because what was happening before? Yeah, okay, good. Because what was happening before was basically if you're trying to do incremental, you had to do your own upserting scripts and then like kind of rebuild the views, if I remember right, was like the workaround. So not a great workaround. Just excited that now it'll actually work. So
Oh, that's fantastic. The other big thing that I saw that I'm kind of excited by, and I'm gonna get the name wrong on this because I'm not seeing it jump out here, but Fabric NCP server or
Oh,
MGI?
Fabric.
MCP.
What is it?
MCP.
MCP? Can
And a
anyone explain
CLI.
to me what that is? It seems exciting and like I should know all about this, but like
You're gonna love it, Chris. You're gonna
yeah.
love it. Yeah. MCP server is basically you can think of it as a way for any other AI to reach out and grab information. So
Mm,
it's kind of like um, the way I thought about it. It feels a little bit like an ODBC connector, where it's like, which is a weird analogy, but basically I can then ping the MCP and get information back.
mm,
So you can do that with anything now. So I could use Claude to reach out to my Fabric instance and help me write descriptions for all my artifacts. But then maybe I prefer ChatGPT or Copilot to actually create my artifacts. So I can do both from one UI.
mm. Now, how does that work? I know one of the big selling points for Copilot was that it had integrated security. It didn't share information outside your tenant. When
Mm-hmm.
I use an MCP server and I start to call these other AIs, am I immediately violating my cloud security because now I'm starting to share information with these other AIs?
I know it's not the intent.
Wow.
You want to use tools that are still within like your secure, like these are secure licenses, right? You don't want to be
Mhm.
using
Yeah.
your personal chat GPT to go talk to your enterprise fabric MCP, I would say. But that's
But
also, go ahead.
well, I guess what I was trying to understand is like, how does an MCP server? Oh, you're saying it only well, but even if it's inbound, like okay, hey cloud, here's the API, you can hit that. Like, okay, maybe I authenticate, but Claude itself is an LLM that's going to like store the whatever the result. It's going to take the information. It's going to give me a result, but that information that it took from me, won't it be storing that someplace, and won't that become part of the LLM?
That's why the security is so important, right? Like when you're authenticating, and that's why the context and sensitivity of like the data within Fabric is important, or whatever MCP you're trying to hit, right? The MCP piece just gives the instructions of how to use the different tools and where to get the tools, and you have like a singular place to configure that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I think to your point, yeah, there's definitely security concerns, right? And that's why you don't want to just use personal means of accessing that MCP server. This should all be within like your licensed like estate.
Yeah.
But and you are getting summarized information too, right? But there are ways that you can try and hack it to get the granular information, and that's why the security behind MCP and your data state is so important, right? Like we're seeing a lot of embedded security where it's looking at the API calls that the LLMs are making, making sure that you're not getting data that you shouldn't be getting. That's all kind of bleeding edge AI work right now.
Yeah, I would say I think especially like MCP's been something I've still been trying to wrap my head around, but when you explain it that way, it makes all the more sense that yeah, controlling security has to be at source. Because to me, it almost sounds like then it's enabling like Claude and other solutions to use LLMs to access it, it's kind of like the AI version of export to Excel,
Mm-hmm.
where
Yeah.
we know a lot of times, you know, you do a lot of Power BI and Fabric. As soon as you export it to Excel, it's really difficult to govern.
Yeah,
So,
and a
Right.
lot of the MCPs that are being used is really from a development aspect, right? It's less so
Mhm.
from like a, hey, I need to go query this and get answers like as a consumer. Like they have built the CLI, the Fabric CLI, which then speaks to MCP. So then, as a developer who already has access, you're using the MCP server to help you build different artifacts. And I think Christina gave some really good examples, right? Of, hey, I need to go name all these columns, or hey, can you do this one task that would take me a bunch of clicks? How can I do it just, either with like GitHub Copilot or with Claude? I think that developer centric use comes first, because opening the can of worms for the consumers is where the concerns come. And I don't think it's there just yet. They announced like Azure AI Search. That is more from a maybe a consumer standpoint, where you make that available, and that's again all within four walls of Azure. But when it comes to MCP, it's typically the developers that are kind of getting it first.
Yeah,
Um,
and I guess that's where I want to know more about the security on that and stuff. I like the concept. Thank you for explaining what the concept of an MCP server is. I think that does make sense to me. Allowing you to consolidate access to all these tools that, and as Donald said, like MCP reminds me of soap. Like, okay, I kind of get it now.
It's a glorified API. It's
Yeah.
it's glorified API calls, but now rather than having to read a bunch of documentation plus an API, it just knows how to use the different tools and artifacts.
Okay. Ooh, and look at
Hmm.
that. Fabric user data functions is now
Yes.
that's
GA.
exciting too, huh?
Yeah. Like I said, Chris, I had to make a list because I was like, there's so many good things that came out.
Yeah. Now, Christina, can you Fabric data user data functions, or Christina or anyone, can you explain what that is and why should I care about Fabric data functions? User data
So,
functions. Yeah.
Fabric user functions. I haven't built one yet. I'm very excited to do so. I need to make a presentation about it so that I have to learn them, because that's the best way that I learn anything.
Yes.
But from what I understand, and you guys can definitely feel free to pop in here, this is not one that I'm insanely knowledgeable about, but I'm pretty sure it allows users to actually perform actions inside of Fabric. So like calling notebooks, calling data flows, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Let me see if I can remember what other use cases there were for it, because I'm really excited about it. But I haven't thought through all the implications yet.
Now, I was hoping, and you guys jump out and correct me if I'm wrong. I was hoping that uh, Fabric user data functions were going to be were similar to Azure functions. Are those are
Oh,
very different things?
I don't, I don't, and that's where Christina, I've been wanting to dig into this too, because so far this use cases of it, I've typically expected that like I would have to find like custom libraries, put it in an environment, and that's how I'd access it. It almost seems like this is more widely usable than that for more varied use cases. Um, but yeah, it's curious. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm same as you. I think I'm gonna have to demo it out before I really see the use case.
Okay, well, fair enough. It's now GA though, so if you're liking them in preview, it's now GA. You can go ahead and use that in all of your production environments, and if you have any issues, Microsoft will fully support that. So that is fantastic.
well, Andrew's saying it's very similar to Azure Functions. So, Chris, how are you using Azure Functions today?
So like using Azure functions for things like being able to like programmatically call or respond to APIs, right? So you know, an API responds or does something, we can go and use Azure functions to go do something with it, right? And that could be like literally anything. Like, okay, hey, we're going to run a Python script. We're going to call some other functions, right? We're going to kick off a workflow. We're going to do something with that function, right?
You can 100% do that with these.
Okay.
Yep.
Great.
Yep. Sorry, that was my bad. Yes, I'm looking at the documentation, and it says invoke using a REST endpoint if you'd like. You know, it can do what exactly you just said. So,
Okay.
it sounds like it is the bridge between a translytical task flow and more actions.
Mm.
So, it is kind of like the mechanism that uses to run as well. So, lots of good interoperability between other Fabric artifacts with that.
I have to say I resent that I now can almost say translytical
Translytical.
The first time, yeah.
the first time when I go to say it now. Like, that's a word that I don't think should exist, but it is a thing that exists. And but okay, thank you, Microsoft, for a brand new word like translytical. Thank you.
Don't you love it? You're learning so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
More
Yay!
terms, more terms. My dictionary
Yeah.
is getting.
That mean nothing to anyone else. Sorry. Oh. All right. Oh, that's great. Okay, so we went. You had a great time, Christina, at FabCon. Now, this is something unfortunately Jared and Greg can't participate in, or I can't really. I think one of the best reasons and why you should pay to go to conferences and fly there and go is because of all of the hallway after hour conversations that occur at a conference are
Yeah.
often far more valuable than anything that has high production value, presentations, and the like. Um, and I guess we'll ask for similar things, but not from FabCon, from Greg and Jared. But what was the highlight or biggest thing that you got to do from going to FabCon Vienna?
Yeah. Well, obviously meeting up with all my friends. You
Mhm.
can't sacrifice any of that time. Especially at international conferences, it's just so good to see everybody. But I think one of my highlights, and I had two that stand out to me right away. One that's the first one is there was a guy I talked to at FabCon Vegas. Name is Dean. He's awesome, and we were talking about at the end of a session, you know, how he can get involved in speaking, how he can get involved in blogging, and how he can just be part of the community more. Well, we
Mhm.
met up again this time in Vienna, and he told me he's already started speaking, and he's actually speaking at SQL Saturday Pittsburgh. So I am super excited to see somebody else kind of join the community and get really excited and passionate. So that was awesome. Um, I think the other awesome thing that happened at FabCon this year was being able to actually solve somebody's problem that was not related to my talk at all. So talking about just in the community zone, just hanging out with a couple folks, and we're talking about tenant administration, and somebody was running into an issue where they couldn't find certain activity logs. And so I gave them a notebook I have that just would load activity data into a lakehouse for them, just already split out and can capture exactly what they need. Um, and they loved it because it had all the API calls that they wanted to track people calling. So,
Oh, that's awesome. That is fantastic. All
yeah.
right, Jared, you speak a lot at conferences, though. You didn't attend FabCon. What's one of the biggest things that you get out of attending a conference, or example of from attending a conference that you felt like really added to the value of attending that conference?
I view conference or going to conferences as this is the chance for like being data professionals going to data conferences. This is a time to think outside of our database boxes, outside of our day in and day out lives, and say, if we could change anything about what we're dealing
Mm,
with, what possibilities could we run into? And that's where I feel like I run into so many people who open up so many ideas in terms of possibilities of what could be a different direction I go with this. Doesn't necessarily mean I have time to do it as soon as I get home. But to get into that innovative mindset, to have people challenge your ideas and to get perspective from other people in those hallway conversations, like that's the sort of input that you don't always get in your work environment. And that's not even talking about like learning things about certain features. Back when I was in Seattle in June for DataCon, ended up sitting down with Christopher Schmidt. He works on a lot of the RTI stuff in Fabric, and just having a nice casual conversation about things. Like, first of all, he was genuinely like challenging us on like what are the issues we're running into for heading in the direction of RTI. In some cases, he was able to provide immediate responses of, this is how the architecture works, this is why you're running into it, this is what you need to do to adjust it. You don't get that just sitting in your office. You
Yeah.
get that at conferences. So the hive mindset is critical to how we advance as civilization, and conferences are really the best avenue that makes that sort of thing possible.
I love that. I think I completely agree. Greg, I know you are a big community organizer. You run lots of user groups. You attend lots of conferences. What's been one of the biggest insights you've gotten from a conference?
For me, going to conferences, being active in the community is all about being able to ask questions and contextualize everything you're learning with the people around you and the speakers. I think knowing the who's who's focusing on what projects are you doing that may resonate with something I'm doing, and I think to Jared's point, kind of open up our minds around different ways to approach a problem. That's why we're there in person. I always tell people that say, "Why should I come to user group? I can just go watch the recording." I'm like, yeah, but that's not where the value is. The value is in getting to ask questions, double click into things when you can't do that, just watching a recording. And that's what you get at conferences. You get to actually interact with people, being able to ask your neighbor, like, "Oh, I didn't get that." Like, did you?
Yeah.
That's why we go, right? And making those connections and keeping those connections, right? There's so many people I've met at these conferences that I have LinkedIn conversations with here and there, or you see at the next conference. I'm really excited to go to Power Platform Conference coming up in October, and bummed I missed Vienna. But I will tell you, I will not miss Barcelona. I will be at those. I'm going to go find a cabana in Spain, as Chris was alluding to.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yes, and with that, like we are 100% planning to be at FabCon in Atlanta. Even though they have far less gambling and the hotels are not as crazy in Atlanta, the reality is we're not going for that stuff in Atlanta, so we're going to be going for DataCon and speaking there. I'm excited to be there. Christina, are you going to be there?
I hope so. That's the plan. We'll see.
All right. Greg,
Hey, they'll
are
announce
you?
the speaker soon, so
Yeah.
cross your fingers and toes. Yeah.
Yes. Announcements. Oh, I should have got that link out, but they are still collecting sessions from speakers until the like mid-November or something like that. So you got time to put that stuff together. If you're looking for a guide on how to submit a session, do check out Remerit's post. She kind of outlined best practices and tips for actually getting a submission accepted. And if you do, you get airline tickets and hotel and free pass. So it's a great opportunity, right?
I don't think you get airline tickets, but you do get hotel
You get a
coverage
credit
for a couple
for
nights.
airline.
You get a stipend towards it, but it's limited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not
No
everything,
first class
but
tickets, guys.
no. Yeah. So, but
Very
it's
That'd be
generous,
nice for
though.
Barcelona. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Now, Andrew's mentioning, Justina mentioned custom live spark pools, environment improvements. Yeah, this is interesting. We've been kind of like struggling with this recently around like the number of pools people are using as we go to
Mm.
develop, and you have a smaller capacity for developers, and you got 8 people that hop in, and now all of a sudden like a couple of people can't do anything. And um, Christina, did you see anything about this when you were there? Do you know anything about the?
I don't know anything on top of what Andrew put in that message. So basically, from what I understand, it's going to be a lot closer to the knobs that we got in Synapse, right? So
Mm,
all the
mhm.
little things that you used to be able to tweak, a bunch of that is coming to Fabric finally.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, it'll be very good.
Yeah, yeah.
More things in
There,
Fabric, not having to go to the Azure portal, the better.
What's that, Greg?
what?
I was just saying, the more things in Fabric without having to go twist the knobs in the Azure portal directly, the better.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I mean, look at this. This whole I struggle because there's just absolutely so much stuff in this update. I mean, if you look at this, I'll post it again out there. Like, it is crazy all the updates that were out there. How to like winnow in and focus in on the top ones is huge, right? Like, who mentioned the one like secure tab?
Right.
That's fantastic. Is that a thing? Do we actually have that yet?
It's supposedly a thing. I tried checking in my environments and I couldn't see it, so I don't know if it's a like preview feature you have to enable, or even if it's GA. I forget if it's GA or preview, but I don't know if you have to enable it. I couldn't see it.
Okay.
I was actually surprised nobody mentioned the just general UI updates for workshop, or for being able to
Yeah.
open up multiple workspaces in one tab.
Wait,
So
Like
nice.
what?
that blew my
So
mind.
nice.
What?
Yeah, have you not seen that yet, Chris?
Have you
No,
not,
I
Chris?
have not.
Okay, as soon as you're done here, go and open up the UI for Fabric and try and open up multiple workspaces in a single tab. You now get on the what is it? The left side of the screen is now your list of workspaces that you're connected to. The top, you get colored tabs associated to them
Mm-hmm.
that are the individual items that you have open.
Okay. So
So
I go
you
here.
don't have to have one tab per browser for each workspace. You could theoretically have one browser tab that opens up multiple workspaces and multiple items within those workspaces.
So
Wow.
open a item inside of a workspace.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Now I'll try and open a notebook. Yeah, I think
From
it'll have to be a Fabric artifact, not a Power BI one. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's all,
I've only
Andrew.
done this on the Fabric side. I don't know if it works on the Power BI side.
Sorry.
No, that sounds weird.
Here. No. I'm in the wrong workspace. Let me go to dev. Oh. Okay. Well, I don't want to do this right now, but okay. I'll come back later. So I go here.
I think you need to be in the Fabric experience.
Yeah, bottom
in the
left, I
Power
would
BI.
switch that to the
Oh.
Fabric experience. I don't know if it shows up on the Power BI side. But yeah, look at the top there.
Oh, ho, 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 ho. Oh,
There it is. Yep.
Yeah.
Ha, 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 ha. What the heck? Where did my workspaces go?
The workspaces, I think you have to
Oh,
like
it's
double
way-
click on the workspaces to get a list there.
They moved it up to the top. So interesting. So I can go into dev. Oh, this is interesting.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, look at what is this though? What am I looking at here?
That's all the stuff in your workspace, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, it basically has a pop-out window that shows what's actually in the workspace.
Oh, and I can pin it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I see. I've got my workspaces.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I'm working with. Oh my gosh! Look at this.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah. If I put my crap in folders, I bet I could even explore into the folders. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah. So I pinned my panel here. So I've got my object explorer here. So now I can pin this. Can I close one? No. Who cares? This is awesome. This is fantastic.
Yeah, this
This
is, I
is
think,
super
the real
convenient.
secret sauce that they changed.
Yeah. Like possibly this was the best part of this live stream as we waited, this is why you stay to the end. Those poor suckers that dropped off early didn't get to see the
And honestly, I
exploring
would
lot.
say too, like the nice thing about this was, and I'd say like I announced my favorite announcement. This is probably my second favorite because of this. I did not see the announcement first. I saw the UI update, and within 5 minutes, I figured out how it worked and why this is a game changer for my situation. That's a sign of a good feature. It's innately intuitive. Like that blew my mind, and then I'm like, okay, now I have to actually take a look at the feature results, and then it talked about it in more detail. I'm like, oh my goodness.
What's
This made
nice
me
too
very
is
happy.
a lot of times when they change the UI, you're like, how do I turn this off immediately?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Like for Teams, when they started bringing Teams chats together, I was like, no, why would you do that to me?
Yeah.
Right. And this with Fabric workspaces, because you work across workspaces all the time, right? And having to switch between the two is so annoying. These are the type of UI components and changes. Please push it, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. This is fantastic. I'll say I've always just kind of hung out in the Power BI experience because I saw no reason to go to the Fab. I mean, like there was, it was the same thing. What's that? Well, it was the same
don't
thing,
say that,
right?
Chris.
Like,
Kinda.
Yeah. But now, like, holy cow, you should start moving to the Fabric experience. And I gotta say, this now makes me want to make sure that on every workspace, I'm attaching an image to that workspace.
Yeah.
So that I can really differentiate them on my sidebar, because that's going to help me with my navigation as well. So,
does anybody do this? Like making icon photos is like so important for workspaces.
Yeah.
Like I love doing that in Teams. It just makes things that much more pop out and memorable.
Yeah. It becomes really easy to navigate with it, really hard to navigate without it. And, because that first letter of the team space does not help me when I have like 400 M's in a row. Like Microsoft Fabric user group, Microsoft Power BI user group, Microsoft Power BI troubleshooting for client, blah, blah, blah. Right? Like
the ABCs of workspaces. A, B, C, M, M, M.
Awesome. Well, hey, we are nearly at time. In fact, we are at time. Greg, Christina, Jared, everyone on the live stream, thank you guys so much for joining us today. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Really looking forward to next week. Still lining up what we're going to be talking about, but you guys make it really special for me, and I'm so glad to be back doing this. I absolutely love Fridays because of you. So thank you all.
Happy Friday, everybody.
Have the best day ever. Peace.
Cheers.
Baker Tilly Digital combines strategic industry insight and advanced technical expertise to uncover and solve your digital transformation challenges. If you're interested in learning more, check out our website at bakertilly.com/digital. everybody.